Hey everyone, this is Disc Junkie and today I'm here to talk about the movie Tårtgeneralen. The Swedish film, roughly translated title is General of Cake or The Cake General, and this is a film which just came out 2018 back in March, so it's actually not a particularly old movie at all. But what is interesting about this is that it's actually made to look really old, or at least for this specific release, which is actually made to be a old style VHS, and sorry if I'm not getting the best lighting here, but what I think is so amazing about this release is that the VHS craze, or this sort of, comeback of the VHS era has been going on internationally for quite a while. I mean, we've seen movies like House of the Devil, Turbo Kid, and all kinds of big budget movies that have been released on actual videotapes now, which is really sort of like this growing homage to the 80s, and there's so many fans out there like myself who just love videotapes and love collecting these old releases. So there's a lot of these sort of retro editions coming out on the international market. But what's really special about this is that this is, as far as I know, probably the first ever Swedish produced VHS release which has come out after the sort of end of the VHS era. Now obviously there might be some VHS releases out there. The movie Kung Fury, which is a Swedish produced short film which became really viral, that essentially had a VHS release, but it was actually an American produced release and it was made for the Kickstarter campaign and such. This is definitely one of the, if not the first, at least one of the very few Swedish VHS releases. And I'm so excited about this. Not only is it a limited edition, it's actually an extremely limited edition. It's limited to only 25 copies. A store exclusive to a Swedish store called Discshop, which is discshop.se. This essentially sold out in pre-orders. It's even signed by the directors Filip, Hammar and Fredrik Wikingsson. Not really sure what else to say, so yeah, let's just go ahead and check this out. Oh god, so excited! Okay, so this is the Swedish VHS release of Tårtgeneralen, starring Mikael Persbrandt, and here is the front cover. Let me just give a second to get some focus on this. Not really sure what's wrong with my camera, but here is the front cover. Very sort of retro-esque looking, and I think they did a really good job on design. Here is a sticker, videopunkten, or the video spot if you were to translate it, and there is actually really fine printing around it which says rental and distribution of recorded video cassettes, and then you got the city where the movie essentially takes place, which is Köping. And this sticker was actually sealing the box. There's some residue there, but I decided to peel it off and actually stick it on the front just to keep it intact rather than cut it up in two. You can also see that it is signed by the directors, Fredrik and Filip, known for being like these Swedish sort of talk show hosts. They work a lot in comedy. This is actually their directorial debut, their first feature-length film. I think it's a beautifully designed release, and I also love the fact that they used this SF Video logo. I mean, SF is a company which still exists today, essentially released videotapes back in the sort of VHS era, and I think this is actually one of their earlier logo variations, so it was really cool to see that they actually reused that. It's really interesting. So another close look at the bottom of the spine, got a spine number down there, classic VHS logo, and then just here is the back cover. Just gonna go in for a close-up because it's hard to fit everything in frame anyway. To get distribution, SF Studios, retail cassettes, the translation of that. And then we got Tårtgeneralen, got the plot line printed out. This is all in Swedish, obviously. But it's a really interesting film, I gotta say. Here's another print, essentially the same as the sticker we had on the spine, but this is actually printed. That's actually not a second sticker, it's just a printed sticker. And then we just got some little fine print at the bottom, like a warning, may not be copied and yada yada. That's it for the exterior. Clamshell is one of those soft cases. You can see that I actually gotten a little bit of a transit damage, which is obviously a shame. As far as I can tell, this is a pretty generic case, so I could probably replace it if I wanted to. So here we go. I don't know, I'm just getting short of breath looking at this because it's such a... I mean, a lot of people might not understand why this is a big deal, seeing as, yeah, we've seen video releases and we've seen modern day video releases, but this is a Swedish release, and Sweden, like I said, hasn't really come into this whole sort of VHS retro craze yet. Obviously we are interested in it, and there's a lot of collectors like me who take a great interest and who still love videotapes and love collecting the old stuff. But in terms of like making retro editions, this is something really new for Sweden, and that's why I think this is so exciting. Here is the spine for the VHS. Got a sort of glossy finish. You can see it even has like a small stamp from like an actual old video store in Köping, the town where the movie takes place. And this also comes back on the label of the top. Same stamp, Tårtgeneralen, and then just like typical, you know, may not be copied and all that kind of stuff. But what I wanted to summarize, I think that it's a very well designed release, because I think there's a lot of sort of great nudges, and I think they did a really good job at making this look old. I mean, it's all worn and stuff like that, but it really looks like an old release. I think they did a really good job with like coloring, just a really interesting release, and I really thought this was a great film. Actually a really interesting sort of mix between a documentary slash sort of based on real events kind of film. This is obviously a non-English friendly release, seeing it's a Swedish film, Swedish language. It doesn't have subtitles, it's just Swedish language only. But in any case, amazing release, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. Really unique, really special, and I really hope that we will be seeing more films released in this way in Sweden, because I think there's definitely a market for this. This was sold at a retail price of 399 Swedish crowns, which I thought was kind of high at first, but then when I realized that it's only 25 fucking copies and it's also individually signed by the directors, then, you know, 399 Swedish crowns felt much more reasonable, given that it's such an extremely limited release. It's actually been delayed like 2 months. Initial release like 2 months back. Now I finally got it, and I'm really happy about it, and I'm rambling. So thank you very much for watching, and as usual, hope to see you all next time. I mean, this is so fucking cool. Yeah, let's just go ahead and check this out, shall we? Shall we? So fucking cool! So excited. Ah, God! Ah! Ah! So excited! Ah! Ah! How cool is this fucking videotape?